So today's session is about how to create an irresistible lead magnet. So first of all, we want to know, why do we need a lead magnet? And we looked last time I did my live session, which was a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I think. We looked at building the entire lead generation system, which uses the lead magnet as its its main part. So one element of that is having a lead magnet to give away. It's a valuable piece of content that you give away in exchange for somebody's contact details. So the reasons that we do that is, first and foremost, for lead generation purposes. So we can gather a list of people. We're building a list of people that we can reach out to when it comes time for us to sell your services, or you've got a promotion, or you just want to reach out to people to come and see you at an event or whatever it is. You want to have a list of people that you are constantly building. When it comes to marketing in this industry, it's really difficult to kind of get to a point where you think, I need leads now, I need clients now, but I've not done any other marketing, so I'm just going to turn the tap on and expect a load of clients to come in, and then I'm at a point where I'm happy and ready, I can turn that off now. That's really difficult to do. So what you want to have is a constant drip of leads coming into your list, so that when you are ready to take on those clients, you can then do your promotion to a list of people who are qualified, pre-qualified, that you know that they are interested in the content that you're providing and the services that you provide. So one of the reasons that we need that lead magnet is to build that list. It's a way of getting them to give you that contact information by giving them something in exchange. The second reason is to do with positioning. So if you are working in a niche and you want to kind of become the authority or the expertise in that particular area, then having content out there that you can give away just helps to build your credibility and your authority in that area. So having content that you can give to people and giving it for free as well, it really, boosts your goodwill as well, because people will get that valuable content and say, wow, this is amazing, I got this for free. I wonder what the rest of their stuff is like if this is the free stuff. So it positions you as that authority and that expert, and it helps to start to build a bit of a relationship of them knowing who you are, liking the stuff that you do and who you are, and trusting the quality of your content and trusting the experience that they have with you, because it sets up a good reputation for you. So twofold, we're looking at positioning. It sets you up nicely in the area, and then also the lead generation, capturing those leads. So what is a lead magnet then? Let's look a little bit more in detail what that is. So a lead magnet is a valuable piece of content that you are giving away for free in exchange for somebody's name and email address. So when somebody is giving their name and email address, even though this is a free piece of content, a transaction is still happening. They are releasing that information and they are getting that bit of content. So the content that you create needs to be valuable enough for them to want to part with that information. They need to see it that they are winning by making that transaction and giving up that information. It needs to be valuable enough for them to want to do that. So we're creating a valuable piece of content that does one of a couple of things. So we want to either solve a problem that they are having in the industry, in their business, solve a common problem, give them a quick win, if you can give them a quick result, help them get organized if you're doing something like a checklist, whatever, make their life easier. Whatever it is you're doing, you're providing them with something really valuable. You're helping them out, you're giving them immediate value. And the best ebook, or the best lead magnet even, is going to be something that gives them an immediate result. So it's something that's simple, it's easy, it's straightforward for them to do, and it gives them a pretty immediate result, or at least a sense of hope that the problem can be made so much better by giving them a clear understanding of that. So we're looking to solve a problem, and you're looking to give pretty much your best info. You want to give away your best stuff. So it wants to be something that is so valuable that they read that and they think, that's amazing, I want more from this person. And you're giving it away for free. So when you give away your best stuff for free, that makes them then think, well, the paid for stuff is going to be 10 times as good because this is the level of the free stuff that I'm giving away. So you want to give away really quite high quality stuff. And when we're looking at building these lead magnets, we're focusing on quality over quantity. So some people, the obstacle that they think that they have when it comes to creating a lead magnet, and if we're talking an ebook here, they say, I don't have the time to sit down and write a 50-page document or an ebook. I don't have time to sit down and write it. I don't have the time to do that. And that's the problem that most people think they have. But what we're focusing on is quality over quantity. And that's for two reasons. Okay, of course, you want the quality of your stuff to be good for the reasons that we said earlier about you want to be able to help them and position yourself and show that you are credible and all of those sorts of things. But the shorter that content is, you want it to be short and sweet, but deliver good content, because it makes it easier for them to consume that content. So if you write a 100-page ebook, they might download that and they might never read it. They might never get around to doing it. So they never interact with your content. They never get to know you and your reputation. They never get to know, the style of your content. You're not building that relationship because they've downloaded it, but they've not looked at it. Also, they're not getting that inspiration and that hope. If you give them, let's say, for example, one of your ideas is 50 tax saving tips within your industry, and you want to go into massive detail on all of those. Or maybe it's a step-by-step program, actually. That's probably a better example. If you said to somebody, this is a 45-step program to get you from where you are now to where you want to be, people are going to look at that and think, well, 45 steps, that's too much, I'm not going to get there. I need something quicker and easier. So when you can break it down and put it into a 3-step program or a 5-step program, that makes it seem so much more reasonable for them and so much more approachable and doable, and it gives them that hope and that sense of it can be done. Okay, so you're breaking it down for them, you're simplifying it for them, and you're giving them a quick, nice, easy route from A to B if you can. So quality over quantity is really important. Now, I've spoken a little bit about what we're gonna look at today is we're gonna make an ebook, but there are different forms that your lead magnet can come in. So you could do an ebook, you could do you could do a book if you wanted to. You could do a webinar, which is like something that I'm doing right now. You could go on a live stream, you could pre-record a webinar and deliver that. You could do an audio or podcast if that's your thing. You could do something like that. You could, if you wanted to, do a checklist. Perhaps it's a particular service or you have a really useful system for doing a certain task in a certain way, and you want to give people a checklist for doing that. It could be a spreadsheet that you have. Maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet which has lots of really useful formulas in it that can make really nice graphs and stuff, and keep on top of all of your information. Maybe you give that away. So it's something that is super valuable and is going to really help them with a problem, or just be a really useful tool or a resource. But it's fairly simple for you to make, and it's something as well that is evergreen. So the content that you put into this lead magnet, you want it to be something that the content isn't really going to change over time. Maybe every year or so you update it and you might need to tweak a few little bits and bobs, but the core essence of the content is something that's not going to change, because then what you can do is create this lead magnet, set up your system, and then forget about it and leave it. So I'm going to show you in a second. We have an ebook that we made in 2019 that still brings us leads in today. It's actually one of our more popular ebooks, and it's still bringing in leads. We haven't changed the content at all since 2019, but the content is still valuable. It's still makes sense today. It's not got outdated. It's still super valuable information, but the way we've made it is that it's not got any kind of time specific stuff in there, so it is reusable and we can continue to use it over time. So you want to be thinking of making something that is evergreen, that's not going to change. So if you are making an ebook that's kind of around tax or something like that, and tax could easily change, then maybe that's a topic that you want to avoid, or you just have to take it on the chin that is going to have to be something that you keep going back to that ebook and updating it and adding little, appendixes or something, or updating that ebook, because it is going to change over time. So evergreen is best, but if you are in that industry or the area where it's timely, you're going to need to make sure that you keep updating it. So the lead magnet is also really important to fitting into part of the lead generation system. So the system that we looked at last time I did a live stream was you have the kind of opt-in page where they land on the page and they put their name and email address in order to get that freebie, which is the lead magnet. So they get that lead magnet, and then they land on a second page, which is a thank you page, which gives them a couple of other things they might like to do. Maybe you want to join our Facebook group, or book an appointment with me, or whatever else it might be. And then they also receive an email which confirms that they've been successful. It delivers that piece of material of that lead magnet, and it begins this kind of relationship of now sending email and sending more valuable content to them throughout that, now that you have their contact details. So that was part of the larger system, which we call the lead generation system. So today we're just looking at that, how to create that lead magnet, that piece that goes into that part of it. So once you've set this system up, and assuming that you have made content that is evergreen, you don't have to change this system. You could come back to it, you can optimize it, which is what we tend to do. We tend to tweak headlines and change the colors around a little bit, or maybe put a different image and stuff, and we test things and we tweak things. But once you've set it up, essentially you don't have to change it. This works on autopilot, and it sends out the content to people once they sign up. You don't have to think about it. So this is why it's really, really powerful. And a couple of things that the lead magnet does for you as well. First of all, having this lead magnet really helps you target who your ideal client is. So if you've got a really crystal clear image on who you like to work with, then the content that you create will be designed to specifically attract those people and attract them to your business. So when you know who that person is, you can create content that speaks to them and is useful to them and attract them in, so that your list that you're building is filling up with people who are appropriate for your business and who are going to value the work that you do. They're going to be in your niche or fit the criteria that you like, or they're going to really, and that's really going to help to put them in that category where they really value the work that you do, because it's appropriate, it's relevant for them. So it helps you target the clients that are right for you. And then it also pre-qualifies them. So you know that the people that you're bringing in are interested in that subject. So for example, in our business, we have a couple of different ebooks. I think we have 4 or 5. So we have a how to price bookkeeping one, we have the ChatGPT one, we have one on business advisory, and so on. And we know that when somebody downloads one of those ebooks, it signifies to us that they are interested in that topic. So somebody that downloads the ChatGPT ebook, we know that they're interested in learning more about ChatGPT. So we can tailor the material that we send them afterwards to send more valuable resources relating to that subject. We don't know that they're interested in business advisory or bookkeeping or whatever else. We know that they're interested in ChatGPT, so we can send more relevant stuff to them, okay? So it helps you pre-qualify and just, make sure you're tailoring your messaging. And the more specific, the more tailored you can be with your messaging, the more powerful it is, and the better it is at converting people. If you're speaking to the things that you know that they're interested in, you're speaking to who they are, it's going to make your marketing and your messaging so much more powerful. Okay, so that's what a lead magnet is. That's why we are using it. That's why we're doing it. So let me show you just one or two. I think I've got 2 of them ready. I'm going to show you some of our ebooks so that you can see what they might look like. So let me click that button. So this is our ChatGPT ebook, which I gave you the link to earlier. You're welcome to go and download it and have a look at it further in your own time. I'm just going to give you a quick look through it. So you'll have it nicely designed. What we're going to look at today in ChatGPT is how to do the wording. You can then take it away and get it designed, or use something like Canva and get it nicely done up. But we're going to look at the structure a little bit. We've got here we've got an introduction. So we've got the cover, the front page. We've got an introduction, which is talking about ChatGPT. What we're doing with the introduction is, why do you want to read this ebook? We're going to show you this ebook. Why do you want to read further? So that's what the introduction is doing. Then we have a little bit about the authors. So we've got a little bit of a bio for Mark, myself, and Gabby in here because we all assisted in writing this, and of course we did use ChatGPT to help us as well, but we all assisted in writing this. Then we're going into the content. So I think the way that we've done it is into 5 different sections. So we've got the history of ChatGPT. We've got practical use cases as well in here. So we've got the strengths of ChatGPT, understanding the limitations. You can see that it's nicely designed with images and our color scheme and our logo. Understanding the limitations still there, practical use cases, and we've got all of the various different use cases. In here we have some of the prompts that we've used in there, so you can see that the images are in there, and that's a really useful thing for people to have to download, but you can see what that looks like. And then towards the end, the important part, so we've got all the content here in the middle. Let's skip through the content. You can download this, you can go ahead and look at it in your own time if you really want to. Let's get to the end. So we've got top tips, which kind of summarizes everything, and then we've got a conclusion, and the conclusion wraps up about the content, but then also what we're doing is giving them next steps. So we've got an important note here at the end. First of all, the note is just a caveat about this is a timely piece of content, and we do go back and we update it because AI is constantly changing. But we're also giving them opportunity to join our Facebook group. So we're giving a next step. So that's what we do at the end of the ebook. We've put a call to action in there, which is just, what do you want them to do next? Which might for you be book an appointment, it might be follow you on social media, it might be send you an email, inquiry, whatever it might be. Okay, so that's one of our ebooks. We have another one, which is the How to Price Bookkeeping one. Now this one we made in 2019. We made it in 2019 and we still use it as is, the content as is. So we do need to change the images because we've changed our branding a little bit now, but we've got the introduction, a little bit of a bio about Mark, and a bit of an introduction about overcoming their frustrations. And then we've split this into 5 easy steps. So 5 easy steps to get better prices for bookkeeping. We have change the way you price, give clients a choice, which is about using multiple prices, menu pricing, go the extra mile about adding value, build up your value is about communicating the value, and then putting your prices up. And then we go through each of the steps in detail and give you a guide on how to do that. So this is what this looks like. You can see that it's fairly short. It's 15 pages long, and some of those pages are the cover and the introduction and stuff, but it's powerful stuff. It's useful information, and that's what's important, quality over quantity. This is one of our most popular ones from 2019. We still get people downloading this today, and people say it's really useful. So then at the end, we have the next steps. You can join the Facebook group, you can join one of our events. So that's kind of what it might look like for you when you build it. And what we're going to do is we're going to jump into ChatGPT now, and we are going to go and we're going to look at some prompts on how you can build this. So the first thing that I want to show you is you need to have an ideal client profile. So whenever I do any of these sessions, whenever I talk to anybody about marketing, the first thing you need to know is who you are talking to, your ideal client profile. We mentioned it earlier. You need to be crystal clear on who they are, what they're interested in, what things they struggle with, what they're actually trying to achieve, what are their goals and their ambitions, what are their worries, what are their obstacles, what do they stress about, what keeps them awake at night. All of this sort of information you need to know. You also need to know the specific criteria of how you can find them, how can you target them? So criteria like, where do they spend their time? What platforms, what social media platforms on, what events do they attend? And all of this sort of stuff. So I'm going to very briefly, quickly here, show you an example of how to create that ideal client profile, just so that we've got it to use to build the ebook. Because when we build that ebook, the content that we create needs to be useful for that person. So we might have an idea of, oh, I've got this really great idea and I think this will be really useful to people. But if that person isn't interested in that subject, or they don't know enough about that subject to be interested to click on something, then they're not going to download it. It's not going to be valuable. So you need to work out what they want, what they think is valuable, and then create content around that, okay? So the prompts that I have given it, I've just used kind of the template that we've taught before in previous sessions, where we give it a persona, a task, some context, an audience, and then response format. So the persona is, you are now an expert business advisor and coach. Your task is to help me create an ideal client profile for my business. The context. So here is the criteria I want you to include. So I'm giving it a list of the things I want it to consider when we come to create our ideal client. So where are they located? What business sector are they in? What size is the business? What is their attitude to business? What is their financial situation? How long have they been in business? What is their personality? What accounting system do they use? Do they use online digital ways to communicate? And are they willing to refer business? Some further context to that then as well is I've just given it a quick overview of the business that I'm going to use a demonstration business. My business is an accounting firm that works in the niche of digital nomadic entrepreneurs with a specialism in tax. We are based in the UK but work digitally and work primarily with small solo business owners. Ask me any more follow-up questions you need in order to complete the table, because I'm going to get it to write it in a table for me. The audience, this is for internal purposes. So normally when we use this style prompt, the audience will be your customer avatar, which is what we're building now. But because I'm building something that is for internal use, I've just put that the audience is for our team. Okay, and then response format, I want it to be put into a table. And I've just given it a bit of information, how I want the criteria on the left and the specific detail on the right. So it's made me a table, and we have now location on the left, and then on the right it's given me specifics of that, which is primarily based in the UK but can be located globally because we're working with digital nomadic businesses here. The business sector is digital nomadic entrepreneurs, online businesses, freelancers, remote services and providers. Size of business is small solo business, typically 1 to 5 employees or solo operators. Attitude to business is growth oriented. They value flexibility and autonomy. Open to digital solutions. Financial situation stable, but looking for tax optimization and efficient financial management, and so on and so forth. We've got in there that they need to be independent, tech savvy, innovative and proactive. So this is the kind of person that we are looking for, that we want to work with. I then just asked it really briefly here, give me a list of 5 pain points for this audience, the 5 goals and ambitions, and the 5 obstacles. So it's going to take into account this profile that we've just made with the table, and it's going to consider what the pain points might be for that profile. So some of the pain points we've got: tax complexity across borders, so somebody who's traveling a lot, different tax in different countries; inconsistent income streams; limited access to professional financial advice; time management; and lack of financial organization. Their 5 goals and ambitions might be tax optimization, so they want to minimize their tax; financial stability, business growth, freedom and flexibility, and work-life balance. And then the 5 obstacles, what is it that's stopping them from getting to that point? They've got changing tax regulations, so they're in different countries that are constantly changing. They're isolated from financial resources, so they might not know where to find those things. Cross-border compliance, inconsistent workflow, and cultural and language barriers as well. So then I've just asked it, using all of that information, create me a 200-word summary of my ideal client, and I've asked it to write me in the first person because I just prefer that for my uses later. So I now have a 200-word summary of my customer avatar, and that was a really quick way of doing it. When you do it for your business, you want to do it in much more detail than that. You want to get really specific, have a really clear idea of what that profile is, because you're then going to use this throughout your business. So what you're going to do now that we have that 200-word summary, and by the way, I've done a 200-word summary, but you can make it a longer one if you want to. What you're going to do is copy and paste that and save it into a document, or save it into your notes app, or wherever you want to save it, so that whenever you're doing something like this with ChatGPT and you're creating marketing content, you have it there ready to grab so that you can paste it into your prompts and give it that context of who you are trying to speak to. So it always has that information. Another thing you can do is you can add it to your custom instructions, which is in the settings of ChatGPT. So if I click the diamond on the top right and I go to customize ChatGPT, that brings me up my custom instructions area. So if you are writing something for your marketing material and you want it to be targeted towards that particular audience, then you can turn that on, and then every chat that you have it's going to have that information already in its background knowledge. It's already going to know who your client is that you're trying to speak to. So that's what we start with. We start with by having the profile. So what I do is I now grab that profile and I save that somewhere. And I'm now going to go ahead and start the process of building the ebook now that I have the information that I need. So I've got a series of prompts here that I'm going to go through. And I'm going to explain the prompts as I go through them. So the first prompt we have here: you are a marketing expert with a deep understanding of customer needs and pain points. So I'm giving it a role and some context for that role. Your insight will help in crafting an ebook that directly addresses the primary concerns of a specific customer avatar, which we're going to provide it with, providing valuable solutions and guidance. So the task, the first thing that I want it to do is to propose 3 possible topics for an ebook, each including a suggested title, a brief overview, and a list of the 5 key chapters or learning points. So the first thing I want it to do is to give me some ideas, okay? I want some ideas for what my ebook might be. So we know who the customer avatar is, and we're going to input that into this prompt, and it's going to give us some ideas of what content we might make that would attract that client. So the target audience is customer avatar, and this is in these kind of curly brackets, which means what we're going to do is later on in the prompt, we're going to have a variable where we can input what that customer avatar is, and we can use this prompt multiple times with different customer avatars where we just copy and paste the different profile into there, and it'll give us a different response. So this maybe is something you want to do with your clients. If you want to help them create an ebook, you can just use this prompt and copy and paste their client profile into it instead. Okay, or if you've got 2 or 3 different niches, then you copy and paste the different profile in and create a different lead magnet for each niche. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put that variable in at the end. So I want it to use the template and follow the rules. So we're going to give it a template, which means that it just has more of a structure of how you want things to be written out. Okay, so you're just giving it an idea of how you want things to be laid out, the kind of language, the wording, that sort of thing. So the context for this, these topics will serve as the foundation for creating an engaging and informative ebook that resonates with the target audience and addresses the most pressing issues. So the template, so this is kind of how I want things to be written out. And you know, you're welcome to change this if you want it in a different way, but this is how we've done it in this prompt. So first of all, I wanted to say topic 1 and then suggest a compelling title for the ebook. Then I want the outline. So I want it to provide a brief overview of the ebook, summarizing the main theme and its relevance to the customer avatar's problem. Then I want the learning points. So use a bullet point format to outline the 5 key chapters or learning points, detailing the primary content to be covered in each chapter. So like that bookkeeping ebook that we have that had the 5 steps, we're going to create an ebook that has 5 segments. Of course, if you already have an idea where you've got 7 or you've got 4, you know, you just substitute that number in there and you get it to create, you know, whatever it is you want to do. We're just going to start with 5. So the rules, I want it to ensure the proposed topics are relevant and solution focused, okay? They're relevant to my ideal client, to my customer avatar that I've made. They're relevant and they are solution focused. So remember, the content that we make wants to solve a problem or give them a quick win. So we're focusing on a solution for them. I want it to avoid overly broad or unrelated topics, okay? Those are my rules. So then the variable, this is the section at the end. So where we had those curly brackets up earlier here, where it said the target audience is customer avatar, which is in curly brackets. When we put the variables here at the end, we put customer avatar in the brackets and we put an equal sign, and then whatever we have after that, it's going to input that into the prompt above. So we can just copy and paste and change our prompt, our avatar here, and it will change what it creates for you. So that avatar that we made earlier, and by the way, I keep saying ideal client profile or customer avatar. I'm kind of using the 2 interchangeably. So whichever word you prefer, here we have it written as customer avatar. So that one that I just made earlier, I can go and copy that 200 word summary and paste it into here. So now it has that context of what my client is, and it's going to create ideas for my ebook that are specific to that client. So Here's what it's created for me. Here are the 3 proposed ebook topics tailored for your target audience. The first topic, Mastering Multi-Country Tax Compliance, a Digital Nomad's Ultimate Guide. The outline, this ebook is designed to help digital nomads navigate the complex world of multi-country tax regulations. It addresses the unique challenges of running a digital business across borders, providing clear guidance on staying compliant and minimizing tax liabilities. The content is practical, actionable, aimed at helping digital nomads maintain their international lifestyle without compromising their financial stability. So that's kind of an overview of what the ebook is going to be about. We then have the learning points, and it's put it into chapters for us. So chapter 1, we have understanding international tax obligations. Chapter 2, navigating double taxation agreements. Chapter 3 is tax residency and permanent establishment. Chapter 4, practical strategies for tax minimization, and chapter 5 is leveraging technology for compliance. So those are the 5 areas that we're going to go into on the ebook that we create. So it's given me 3 different options. We've got it in that nice format that I wanted: the topic, the outline, and the learning points. I now have topic number 2, which the first one was about tax compliance. This one is about scaling your digital business, efficient growth strategies for the nomadic entrepreneur. So we go back to that ideal client that we kind of came up with first. If you know that your kind of person that you're aiming for is perhaps really new, you like to work with earlier startup kind of people, then the point of scaling, they might not be at that point. So you might prefer the tax compliance option. So there's just kind of different nuances here of slightly different ideas of what you might reach out to them with. If you wanted to, you could create all 3 of these ebooks and see which ones work better. Okay, but for purposes of this, we need to know who we're reaching out to and then pick which one works better for attracting that client based on the problems they have and the outcomes they are trying to achieve. If somebody's brand new in business, they might not be interested in growing massively at that point. They might be more interested in just kind of getting set up and getting compliant. So it depends on who you're trying to attract. So topic 2 is scaling your digital business, efficient growth strategies for the nomadic entrepreneur. And then topic 3, we have financial independence for digital nomads, streamlining operations for maximum profit. And then for that one, we also have the 5 learning points of optimizing cash flow management. Chapter 2 is advanced bookkeeping techniques with QuickBooks Online. Chapter 3 is tax planning for financial independence. Chapter 4 is investment strategies for digital nomads. And chapter 5 is planning for the future, retirement and beyond. So it's given us a couple of different options to go for. So what we want to do next is choose one of those topics, and now we want to create the content for it. So it's given us that outline, it's given us the 5 different chapters, and like we saw in the ebook example earlier, our ebook, that structure that we have, what we're going to make is an introduction, then the content, which is the 5 different chapters, then we're going to have a conclusion, which incorporates into what next steps you want them to take. So what are the call to actions? That's going to be in the conclusion. So we're going to build all of those different elements. So first of all, here's the prompt that we are using to create the content. You are an experienced content writer specializing in creating informative and engaging ebooks for audience. So we now have a different role for it to fulfill. Earlier, I think it was a marketing expert. It's now a content writer. And it's engaging ebooks for audience. So we are going to incorporate the audience later on in the variable of the prompt. So context, your expertise in writing for audience ensures that the content is both accessible and valuable, okay, for that audience. We want it to be valuable for that audience. We want it to also be accessible, easy to consume, make it look easy, light, nice, and just a simple thing to consume. Make it accessible. So task description, your task is to write a specific chapter, and we've got chapter as a variable here because I'll show you later what we're going to do is input the chapter that we want it to do. So we're going to start on chapter 1 and then we're going to work through them. So we want it to write a specific chapter of an ebook using the provided outline, which is just created for us. The ebook is to be educational and written for audience and must address the pain points experienced by customer avatar. Slight distinction there between audience and customer avatar. There's a lot of overlap, but generally kind of what we're seeing is audience is maybe the overarching kind of digital nomad entrepreneur, whereas the customer avatar has all of that extra information that we've added in about their pain points, you know, where they're located, what their attitude is. It's got all of that extra information in built into it. So that's just a slight difference between the two. You must adhere to the writing style. So we're going to give you some tips on how we want it to be written. To complete your task, you must follow the rules. So context, a well-written section will contribute to a comprehensive and engaging ebook that resonates with the target audience. Outcome expectations. So what do we want to happen with this prompt? I want it to provide a well-written section of the ebook that aligns with the outline and meets the specific requirements. Include actionable steps and practical advice throughout the section, and conclude with a top tip to give the reader a powerful takeaway from the section. I'm then going to give an example. So like I did in the previous one, the example is how I want this to be formatted, how I want it to be laid out, the kind of wording, the language, whatever. I'm giving it examples so it knows roughly what I want it to create. So I've just inputted the example in there, and that's what it's going to use as the basis. It's got the top tip there at the end. Now rules, I want you to use the provided outline, follow the specific writing style, write for the designated audience, ensure the section is focused and relevant for the target audience, avoid including unnecessary jargon or overly complex concepts, and never mention the customer avatar by name. So I'm not quite sure about that last point, but because I think it means the specific, because we're making this for everybody. So the variables, then we're going to input the writing style, which if you have your own writing style, which is something else that we also teach about how to create a full writing style so that it writes exactly in your tone and your kind of rhythms and your style, then you can input that there. If not, you can just give it a kind of overview of the style you want it to write it in. So we've got here motivational and authoritative tone, in a professional and persuasive style, use short sentences and paragraphs of no more than 3 sentences. Okay, so I've just given it a few top tips there for the writing style. If you've got something more comprehensive, you can input that in there in the prompt. We have chapter as a variable, so I've just put chapter number 1 because we want it to write number 1 first. The audience, as I said earlier, difference between audience and customer avatar here. So the audience is the digital nomad entrepreneurs, because that's who we're trying to reach generally. And then the customer avatar, I'm again just copying and pasting that profile that we made earlier and putting that into the customer avatar section. Now the outline, I want to make a point here. The outline, I have just put the previous response topic 1. So what you could do is when it has made that outline for you earlier over here, and we have topic 1 outline and the learning points, you could copy and paste that and put it into your prompt. So you put it down here into your prompt. Now I've been lazy and I've just said, you've already written that for me, just find it in the previous prompt. If this doesn't work for you, then don't be lazy like me, copy and paste it and put it into where that outline bit is. Another thing that I'm going to do later as well, I'm going to show you is rather than me copy and paste this prompt, because somebody did ask this in the session yesterday, what we suggest you do is you use this prompt and then you copy that and go to do the next one and you change the variable to chapter 2, rather than do what I did, which is the lazy version, where I've just said, now do chapter 2. Now for me, it's worked, and it has worked really, really well. But the reason that we suggest that you copy and paste the whole prompt again is because sometimes, due to context windows, it can forget what it's already done earlier on. So if you're finding that you do it my way, you do it the lazy way, and you actually just put now do chapter 2, and you're not getting the result you like, then just don't do it the lazy way. Copy and paste this prompt and add those variables in there again in the right way. So we would change this to chapter 2, and we would add the whatever else that we needed to add in there. Okay, so let's see what it's made for us. So chapter 1, understanding international tax obligations. So first of all, it has found my outline because my outline in the previous response to topic 1, the first chapter was, let's go and look, understanding international tax obligations. And it's found that, it's pulled it through, and it now knows that that is the outline that it's using for the first chapter. So we've got understanding international tax obligations, navigating the global tax landscape. As a digital nomad entrepreneur, understanding international tax obligations is essential for maintaining both your financial health and your freedom to work from anywhere. With multiple countries potentially claiming tax rights over your income, the complexity of global tax systems can feel overwhelming. However, with the right knowledge and strategies, you can stay compliant, minimize your tax liabilities, and avoid costly mistakes. Okay, so I'm not going to read the whole thing, but we've got the basics of global tax systems, and it's given me a couple of points here. We've got worldwide versus territorial taxation, tax treaties and withholding taxes, double taxation agreements, your key to fair taxation, and we've got a couple of bullet points for that. Tax residency and permanent establishment, what you need to know, determining tax residency, permanent establishment, managing PE risks, practical strategies for tax minimizations. Okay, so it's gone through a couple of different points there for me. And then at the end, we've got top tip, and it's given me the top tip for that chapter. So what I've then done in the kind of lazy way is I've put now do chapter 2, and I spelled chapter wrong there as well, but now do chapter 2, and it's gone and it's done the next chapter for me. Okay, so it's gone into more detail about that one, and then I've gone now do chapter 3, and as you can see, it's making each of the next ones. Now do chapter 4, now do chapter 5. So that's how easy that is to do. Once you've got that first prompt in there and it's done that first one, you just say now do the next one, now do the next one. If that doesn't work for you, if you're not getting the right format, just copy and paste that prompt again and change the variables. That's the way you should do it. I'm just very lazy. Okay, so I just put do the next chapter. Okay, so now we have the content. And by the way, what I suggest you do at this point is you copy and paste what it's made and put that into a Word document, and then edit it yourself. So either come back to ChatGPT, give it more information on your writing style and get it to change it, or edit it yourself personally, because you've saved yourself a whole lot of time in getting it to do this much so far. Edit it and put it into your own writing style. Just double check you're happy with everything. If there are points in there you don't like, change them. Make sure it's written in your style. Give it some personality. You know, don't just take it as it is. Okay. Add your own style to it. But it's a great starting point, and it's going to save you like 90% of the time. Okay, so you're just editing, you're not writing the whole thing. Okay, so we've got the content. Now we want the introduction, I think is the next part. So you are an experienced content writer specializing in creating informative, engaging ebooks. That's the same one. The task description this time, your task is to write the introduction for the ebook I have attached, and you must follow the action steps. So, step 1, analyze the attached ebook and identify the key benefits the reader will attain from reading it and the expected outcome. Step 2, write a short introduction to the ebook that clearly states the big problem and gives the reader a compelling reason to read it in its entirety. Start the introduction with the setup, use the same writing style as that used for the ebook, and make the introduction compelling. So actually what this prompt wants to do, you can do this in a new conversation, grab that ebook content and upload it as a document. But I'm just doing this all in the same conversation, so it should remember what we've already talked about. But if you're finding that it doesn't do that, then grab all of that content before, put it into a document, start this prompt in a new conversation and add that document in, okay? And then it's going to analyze that, what you've given it, and then write the introduction that focuses on these things. State the big problem, give them a compelling reason to read it in full, and then start the introduction with the setup. So the setup is, the introduction must start with, this ebook will help you, the problem it will solve. So it must fill in that gap so that you can, and then describe the outcome, result, or benefit. And then we have the variable there again of the audience or the customer avatar if you want to put that in there. Okay, so then here's the introduction that we've got. It's quite a long one, so you know, if you like that, you might want to chop it down or get it to shorten it. The introduction we've got, this ebook will help you master the complex world of international tax compliance, streamline your business operations, and maximize your financial potential so you can focus on growing your business while enjoying the freedom of your digital nomad lifestyle. So it's used that style. It's kind of put it into 2 different sentences, so you might want to edit that. But it's used that setup that we asked it to do. As a digital nomad entrepreneur, you've embraced a lifestyle that offers unparalleled freedom and flexibility. You've built a business that allows you to work from anywhere, whether it's a beach in Bali, a cafe in Paris, or a co-working space in Tokyo. But with this freedom comes a unique set of challenges: navigating international tax laws, ensuring compliance across multiple jurisdictions, managing finances on the move, and scaling your business without sacrificing your lifestyle can feel overwhelming. The digital nomad lifestyle should be about freedom, not about stress over legal and financial complexities. Yet without the right strategies and tools, the very flexibility that makes this lifestyle appealing can lead to financial pitfalls and missed opportunities for growth. This ebook is your roadmap to overcoming these challenges. It's packed with practical advice, expert strategies, and the latest technology solutions designed to help you stay compliant, optimize your finances, and scale your business efficiently, okay, and so on. So it's done a really nice introduction that's given me, you know, it's calling out the pain points that this person has, and reaffirming those pain points that they have, and then giving them the benefit. You know, what are you going to learn? What are you going to learn when you read this ebook? By reading this ebook, you'll gain the knowledge and the tools to simplify your tax obligations. Okay, I didn't read that bit, but it's telling you the benefit of what this ebook is going to get you. They feel understood, they feel heard because you've explained those pain points, and they want to read the rest because they know that if they feel understood, you probably have a good answer for them. Okay, so we've got the introduction now. The next thing we want is the conclusion. We've got the introduction, we've got the body, you know, the main content, and we now want the conclusion. So this introduction, sorry, no, I'm on the wrong bit. Okay, prompt. Your goal is to write a compelling call to action to conclude the ebook. The call to action must be compelling and provide a strong reason for the reader to take the desired action. Use the provided framework to structure the call to action effectively. So the action steps. Step 1, I want it to define the problem and identify the primary problem or challenge the ebook, or challenge that the ebook addresses. So what is the main pain point? Clarify how this problem affects the reader's life or business. So we're going to expand on that pain point. We're going to dig into the pain. And then step 2, we want to present the solution. So this is the pain you're in. This is an awful pain. Here's the solution that we provide for you. Okay. Describe the solution offered in the ebook, highlight the positive outcomes and benefits the reader can expect from this solution. This is coming at the end of the ebook, sorry. So what it's doing is reiterating the pain that they're in now. Your ebook should have provided them with some sort of solution, but the next step is, you know, maybe you've told them about various things they can do to save tax, but they don't know how to actually go and put those things into practice. So your conclusion is going to give them that clear instruction of what they need to do next to get those things into action, which is going to be book an appointment with you, or, you know, start up a conversation with you, email you, whatever it might be. Step 3, provide clear instructions, outline the desired action. So what do we want them to do? Do we want them to follow us on social media? Do we want them to book an appointment? Do we want them to call us on the phone? What do we want them to do? Ensure the instructions are simple, clear, and actionable. The framework, so this is the framework that we want them to follow. To help you overcome the problem, clearly state the primary problem or challenge the reader's faces. That's what that bit is, to help you overcome the problem. I have a solution which will state the outcome. To take advantage of this, here's what to do next. So that's the format that we want it to be in. Goals and constraints. Okay, ensure the call to action is clear, compelling, and actionable. You must avoid vague or overly complex instructions. And outcome expectations, here's what we want it to do. Provide a compelling call to action that encourages the reader to take immediate action. We've given it some examples of what we want that to look like. We've given it 3 examples. Now we find that often if you give one example, it will really stick to that dead on because that's the only example it has. But if you want to give it a couple of different examples, it will draw from a more kind of across the range of them. So if you have examples that vary a little bit in structure and stuff, and you want it to kind of be a bit more creative and a bit more between the couple of them, then adding more examples gives it more to go on. So that's always the best thing to do, if you can. And then the variable that we're adding for this prompt is the desired action. So what is that? What is it we want it to do? So for this, I've put that I wanted to use the link below to book a 30-minute Zoom call where we will explore strategies that will overcome your biggest challenge. And it's created a conclusion for me that says, it's following that framework. To help help you overcome the challenges of managing international tax compliance, scaling your business, and optimizing your finances as a digital nomad, I have a solution that will provide you with expert guidance, practical strategies, and personalized advice to streamline your operations, ensure compliance, and drive sustainable growth. To take advantage of this, simply use the link below to book a 30-minute Zoom call where we will explore strategies tailored to overcome your biggest challenges and help you achieve your business goal. So that's going to go right at the end. That's my conclusion, and it's giving them a clear instruction that if you want to take this further, if you want more steps to do on this, you can reach out to us, and it's giving them something to do. Okay, so the last thing that we want to do, and we do this right at the end, because this is the most important part, and we want to make sure we've got the content ready first. We now need to make a title. Now, the title is the most important thing because it's the first thing they see. When you promote this ebook, the first thing they see is the title. If they don't like the title, or the title isn't catchy, or it's not clear what the ebook is based off the title, they're not going to click it, they're not going to engage with it, they're not going to get it, okay? So the title is really important, and it's why we do it at the end, once we've got the content, once we know firmly what this ebook is about. So we've given it a prompt here that we've inputted a couple of different frameworks that it can follow. We do full sessions where you can go into massive details of different headlines and different titles you can use. But for this particular prompt, we've just given it a couple of different options. We've given it some examples for some of those frameworks, and then we've asked it to come up with some titles for us. So framework number 1 is a how-to. So we've got how to master international tax compliance as a digital nomad, and then we've got a sub-headline there as well, the essential guide to staying compliant while maximizing your financial freedom. So that's the first one, which was a how-to. The next one is the step-by-step guide to. So we have the step-by-step guide to scaling your digital business, proven strategies to grow your revenue without sacrificing your nomadic lifestyle. Number 3, we have 7 ways to optimize your finances as a digital nomad, simple tactics to boost profitability and maintain compliance across borders. Framework 4, we have big mistakes when. So 5 big mistakes when managing taxes as a digital nomad, how to avoid common pitfalls and protect your income from unnecessary tax burdens. So we've got a couple of different options there for you to choose which title you think works best. Now, we want to build this system, we want to build the lead magnet so that you can set it up once and then forget about it and it runs itself. However, if you do want to optimize it, if it's set up and it's running and it's bringing in leads and you're happy with it and it's working, and you now want to play around with things and optimize it, then changing the headline might be helpful, because that is something that will get you more clicks if you can change it to something that's a bit more clickable, a bit more likable. You can change the wording on the opt-in page as well. So maybe you keep the headline of the ebook, the lead magnet, but you have something else on the page that they land on, okay? And you play around with these sorts of things. But you've got a couple of options there of the title that you might use for your lead magnet, okay? So I'm just checking to see if we've got any questions, because we are coming towards the end now. But I don't see any questions in there. If anybody does have any questions, we've got a couple minutes left. I'm happy to answer anything. But this is the overall kind of ebook now. We've got the content, we've got the title, we've got the content, we've got in order, sorry, we've done it kind of backwards. But we've got the title, the introduction, the content, the conclusion, which has the call to action in there. Put all of that into a Word document. So I've done that here, and I've just added everything into this document. And then what you can do is you can either send that off to a designer, or if you're confident, you can go to somewhere like Canva and just create a new A4 document. And there are guides on the side. So if you go to design here on the left and you type in something like guidebook, it gives you these various different designs. So I can pull one of those through and use that as my design, and I can just kind of click on it and change the colors. I can input my own words in there where I want. It's given me a couple of different page outlines here on the left. Or if you're more confident with graphic design, you can go and do that yourself, however you want to do it in that sort of way. So you either send it off to a designer or do it yourself, or use these kind of templates, but that's how it works. Then, of course, you want to promote that. You want to put that out somewhere, and that's the whole a whole nother topic. A whole nother topic is promoting that and putting it out into the world. But now you have your ebook, and you saw how quick that was to make. That took me what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes to make that. I would say that once you've got all of that content together, you want to go and edit it. You want to add your style, your personality, make sure that it is your own and it's not completely just AI generated, because it can produce some amazing stuff and you can make it much more personable by adding in your writing style and those sorts of things. But just give it a once over, make sure you're happy with it, tweak things that you want to tweak, and you have a nice ebook to go with. So in the academy yesterday, Mark did this session and he set you a challenge, and he said, next time you come to a session, we want to see that you've made the ebook. So you should go away now and go and make that ebook, because you know how simple it is to do. It took me 30 minutes. You could have one done and ready in an hour if you wanted to. So there's no excuse to not have one. It's a great way of bringing clients into your business. It's a really powerful system to have in your business. Go ahead and go and get those done. And I'd love to hear your stories. If you do make them, happy to share them in the Facebook group and things like that so that we can see. But yeah, there you go. You've got it. Thanks everybody for being here today. Hopefully it's been valuable. I'm going to play you out with some music, and I'll hopefully see you on another live stream coming up soon in the next couple of weeks. Thanks everyone. Bye for now.